The international break is over, and that means it's time for the Copa Libertadores to return. After a lot of drama in the round of 16, we are down to our final 8 teams in the competition. 4 Argentinians, 3 Brazilians and 1 Ecuadorian team. And in the end, only one of them will rise above and achieve eternal glory. Which is why here in Rank Talks Ball, we're gonna predict the first leg in the quarterfinals of the Copa Libertadores 2025. Liga de Quito pulled off the upset and defeated the reigning champions Botafogo. After only conceding once in the first leg, they dominated the game from start to finish at home, scoring within the first 7 minutes when El Sugaray received the ball inside the box and passed it backwards to Villamil to slot the ball in and level the tie. After that, Liga continued to create chance after chance, but they couldn't get the winner, until a handball inside the box by Marlon Freitas gave the Ecuadorians a penalty in the 60th minute, which was scored by El Sugaray. With this, Liga is now the only non-Brazilian or Argentinian team left in the tournament, and they will have to go up against another Brazilian giant in Sao Paulo, who suffered way more than they should have against Atlético Nacional. The Paulistas took the lead in the second minute of the game when a cross by Alan Franco was headed by Andre in the far post to put Sao Paulo in front. After that, the game slowed down, but it was Nacional the one who slowly grew into the game as the minutes ticked by. And in the second half, a shot from outside the box by Inestrosa was saved by Rafael, but Morelos could not score from the rebound. However, the striker for Nacional would get his redemption, as mere minutes later he won and scored a penalty for the Colombians to level the tie. Goal that Cardona, yes, the same Cardona that missed 2 penalties on the first leg, celebrated in front of Ferrareses' face while being on a yellow, getting sent off and leaving Nacional with 10 men in the most stupid way possible. With the man advantage, Sao Paulo dominated, but they were not able to find a winner, and so in the end, the tie had to be decided on penalties. Uribe took the opening penalty for Nacional, but his shot was saved by Rafael. But after Lucas Moura and Campuzano scored, Marcos Antonio smashed his shot against the post to keep the shootout level 1 apiece. 4 successful conversions meant that the score was 3-3 when Inestrosa smashed his shot against the crossbar and allowed Cedric Suarez to score and punch Sao Paulo's ticket to the quarterfinals. Where away to Quito, I think they will really struggle with the form they've been showing lately, which is why I will give the victory to Liga de Quito. River Plate barely squeezed by Libertad in the round of 16. In the Estadio Monumental, the Argentinians took the lead in the 28th minute when an amazing cross from Acuña found Colidio inside the box. His shot hit the crossbar, but the rebound was tapped in by Driussi to make it 1-0. However, Libertad began to grow into the game, and before the end of the first half, from a corner, Robert Rojas scored against his former team to level the tie. The game turned even more complicated for River when Galopo was sent off at the start of the second half, but Libertad were not able to capitalize on the man advantage, and so the tie headed to penalties. Acuña missed for River, but Libertad's penalties were atrocious, with Recalde, Caballero and Marcelo Fernandez all missing, which means that River is the one to advance to the quarterfinals, where they will have to play against Palmeiras. Where after the demolition job that they inflicted on Universitario in the first leg, they decided to take it easy at home. Universitario were able to score a banger goal that was later disallowed by offside, and with no more chances to speak of, the game headed into a boring 0-0 draw that saw Palmeiras advance. River is gonna have to improve a lot if they wanna defeat a side like Palmeiras, and this first leg in the Estadio Monumental is gonna prove crucial in the tie. I just don't think they will have enough for a win, which is why I will predict this game to end in a draw. Vélez took care of business at home against a very poor Fortaleza side. The Argentinians didn't suffer whatsoever in this entire tie. In the 7th minute, a cross by Elias Gomez found the head of Maher Carrizo for the Wonder Kid to get yet another goal and put Vélez in front. And in the 28th minute, a poorly placed pass by Daverson allowed Gordon to assist Galvan to get a second. From this point, Vélez never looked back and saw the rest of the game out, advancing comfortably to the quarterfinals. Kinda the opposite of what Racing had to go through. At home against Peñarol, the Argentinians needed to pull off a comeback. And they got off to an amazing start when in the 7th minute, their talisman striker Adrián Martínez scored from a rebound to level the tie. But Peñarol didn't just sit there and watch, and only 8 minutes later from a corner, Nahuel Herrera with a powerful header made the game 1-1. The Uruguayans were advancing due to the lead they had obtained in the first leg. Racing couldn't break through and time was running low, and that's when controversy struck. Because Adrián Martínez was brought down inside the box by the softest of touches, and after a VAR check, Roldán awarded Racing a penalty which was scored by Martínez himself with only 10 minutes to go. And it was during those last 10 minutes that all broke loose. Chances began to be traded back and forth. Martínez missed a sitter in front of goal and Arias had to make a couple of saves after Peñarol was attacking Racing in the counter. The tie was heading to penalties when in the last ball of the game Racing had a free kick and Peñarol left Pardo all alone on the far post to appear and with a powerful header make El Cilindro explode in celebrations and send Racing to the quarterfinals. Now we will have an all-Argentinian clash, and so far I've seen Vélez as the most consistent of the two teams, which is why playing at home I will give them the win. Flamengo didn't break a sweat playing away from home against Internacional. I was scared for El Mengao after they got a single goal lead at the Maracaná, but in Porto Alegre they dominated the game from start to finish. In the first half, Georgian de Arrascaeta opened the score with a clinical finish to the top right corner. The only good chance that Inter had to get back into the game was wasted as in the 82nd minute Borré hit the post. Besides that, it was all Flamengo and they confirmed it near the end of the game when after a corner the ball landed next to the small box for Pedro to tap it in. Now El Mengao will host Estudiantes, who showed a very unimpressive performance against Cerro Porteño. Despite controlling the game in the first half, the Argentinians didn't create good chances. And defending the 1-0 lead they had gotten in Paraguay proved difficult as Cerro Porteño began believing in themselves. But in the end the Paraguayans didn't have enough fuel in the tank to break through, but they still made Estudiantes look really bad as they only defended for the last 20 minutes of the game with all they had. Now a very tough match awaits them away to the Maracaná. I have a weird feeling about this game as Estudiantes could show some character and get a result, but I'm not gonna bet on it. The win here will go to Flamengo. And this is how my predictions are going. Yes, you are reading that correctly. In the second leg of the round of 16, I didn't get a single match result right, adding 8 to my negative tally, bringing the total score to 51 correct predictions and 61 incorrect. That was an absolute disaster, and if I want to make it into the positive numbers I have to be absolutely flawless from now on. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like, comment your thoughts down below and subscribe to not miss out on any more Copa Libertadores content. I'll be seeing you all next time.